y'all. It's VJ.
It's James.
And this is
A Sip
and a Shot. Woo, 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 woo. We're back, bitches.
Yes. Back for another Monday after being gone last week.
Yes. We did a live last week.
We did do a live.
With our big announcement.
Yeah. For those that couldn't join the live, didn't see the live, didn't even know where to find the live.
You want a drum roll? Can we get a drum roll for our big announcement?
They're looking at me. I ain't got a button for that.
Okay.
We launched our website.
Yes.
We
did.
A sip and a shot. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. A sipandashot.com.
Yep, so you can find all the episode info. You'll find the drinks are on there. I added those today, so you can see the video for it. You get the recipes for it. We'll add all the episode info. If you want to email us, you can do that there. So it's a sipandashot.com. Go check it out.
Go check it out. It's live. It's live. You can send us in, like, if you need some advice. You know, I've been trying to, like, push this, like, sipping advice.
She really wants to give, like, a good, like, bartender sitting at the bar
That's
advice.
what we should call. Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
But we're back, and we have new drinks for you. I'm excited about them. They're really pretty, and it has one of my favorite liquors, because your girl is back to drinking.
Finally.
She's back to drinking the liquor.
Finally. Yeah, so our shot today is...
It's called Lick My Pussy.
Yeah, and you know, it's always weird saying that word on this show.
It is, only
For
because
us.
I feel like it's, you know what, and I feel like it goes along with our topic, why it's weird for us to say it, but it's called Lick My Pussy.
Yeah. So in this is Malibu rum. There's some pineapple juice smelling liqueur, and then you shake that in a shaker. Pour a little grenadine in there. It's supposed to have like a nice like sunrisey vibe to it.
As you'll see in the video.
Yeah. Y'all can check the Instagram at A Sip and a Shot and see how it's supposed to look. But we gonna do our cheers.
It's still giving like sunrise.
Yeah. It still looks nice.
Yeah. Cheers. You ready? Mm-hmm. Cheers to the good.
Cheers to the bad.
Cheers to all the things we wish we had. Clink. Here we go, y'all.
You know what? It's pretty good.
You're not mad at it?
No. I think there's enough. I don't like melon liqueur.
No.
Y'all know this. There's enough other stuff in it to kind of knock out that melon. It's definitely a sweet drink. Mm-hmm. It's a good, like...
I think it'd be good as a cocktail.
It'd probably be really good as a cocktail, but
Yeah.
it's also a good, like, girls' night. Y'all are starting a night off. Let's just order some drinks.
I agree.
But not go too hard.
Yeah. It's like, you know, everyone comes over, and it's like, oh, let's do drinks, but we can't do straight shots anymore.
Yeah,
I need
I
something
can't do
like, I got y'all, you know.
Yeah.
Like, how we are now.
Yeah.
And, James, I took the full shot, friend.
Congratulations. 2-finger clap. Because on the live last week, I got a little surprise. Taking the full shot, and I looked over, and I was like, oh, there's a third drink. That's KB's drink. Funny enough, KB wasn't there because we were at home. So I was like, wow, I took a whole drink, and she didn't finish her drink and didn't say anything to me about it.
In my defense, I had not drank in a month.
Yeah.
Probably a month. And so when I took the like, my body just couldn't handle it couldn't take a shot.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Normally for that type of stuff, not that we pressure people to drink, but we don't like wasting alcohol.
We don't, but I couldn't drink it, and I was very disappointed. I wasn't disappointed in myself, but I tried.
Sure wasn't.
Peer pressure.
I tasted it so I could give you an accurate description of what the drink was.
You know, just communication.
I thought, well, this is it. My full intention was to take it. Just for the record.
Okay.
All right.
So
this is the one I'm excited about.
I'm excited for it too. It took a lot of like out of me not to try it when I made the big batch, but this is called Fallen Angel. This is gin, a little creme de menthe, the green version, and then lime juice, and
that's it.
If you garnish it with a mint sprig, extra cute. Do we have the video to show them what this looks like and how to make it?
Cheers. This is a lot of gin.
It's
a lot of gin.
A whole lot of gin, a lot of lime.
It needs a little bit of simple syrup.
Yeah, it needs a little sugar to it.
I only took one sip and my whole body is warm.
My chest got hot.
Okay, your chest is hot too? My chest is like hot.
I don't know. This okay, so
Listen, we're not offended because we didn't make this up.
Yeah, this is not our drink.
Listen, I feel like the only thing all right, so it's a couple things that can be.
He's so nervous.
Yeah, it's a couple things that can be, but honestly, all in all, this can still sell as a Christmas drink. Or some I'm telling you it could. It's so what's that, not pineapple-y, but what's
minty?
It's not minty.
Limey?
It's like
sour.
piney. It's just piney. You know what I'm saying?
It probably because it has mint in it. It gives you a very like pepperminty, maybe not peppermint, but like a sour. I don't know.
I barely taste the peppermint though. That's the thing.
I don't. I taste straight gin.
Yeah.
And lime juice.
It is. I mean,
gin. Yeah.
Essentially, it's kind of a martini.
Yeah, but just because you know what, we only did like dashes of mint.
Yeah.
It like the recipe called for 1 dash of mint,
which is very hard.
And bitters. That was the other thing we forgot.
I put them in there.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It has cherry bitters in it as well. This drink was called the Fallen Angel.
Yep, and I could see
so
how you might, if you flying around, this to bring it right on down.
Yeah,
this will take you right down to the.
So, yeah, it'll take you down.
Yeah,
it'll take you down. I don't know if this is like the right one to like sip on forever in a day.
I don't think so. I mean, if
this might get you in trouble.
I was gonna say that. I was like, this.
Listen, let me put my text in now.
Oh Lord, I was like, this will have you a fallen angel. You be real sweet when you first go out, and next thing you know, you on demon time.
Yeah, which might not be. I think you know what, it'd be a good demon time, but just it's like burning my throat with like a hint of We just need like something sweet just to cut the lemon. Yeah. And we used a different gin this time. It was this really pretty bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know what the gin is called. I want to call it Citadel, but it's not Citadel.
I think it was Citadel.
Okay.
It's in the video, y'all. Y'all can go on our Instagram and see it.
You know what? I still think I like Bombay. I don't know if that takes my bad bitch status away. But anyway, let's get into...
I'm just trying to get my mind together. The drink.
The drink?
Yeah.
It's not what I thought it was going to be.
At all. I was very excited for it. Now I'm less excited.
Yeah.
We'll have to like tweak it and then let y'all know what to change. And then y'all can try it.
I already know what we should change.
Yeah, but it's like how much?
Like a half an ounce.
I would add more mint too.
To make it more, well.
All you need to add is some soda water or some ginger ale.
No.
Give it some carb, I'm telling you.
No. I don't know how gin and ginger ale works.
Gin and ginger?
It's a splash. Just give it a splash. It's the carbonation.
Is that gin and ginger ale or gin and ginger beer?
It's the same. It's both. Oh. It's both.
Okay.
Bartender's Corner is over.
Yes.
We're done with that.
We're done. We will say try it, but don't try it yet.
Don't try it yet.
Definitely try the shot.
When to try
and you know what? I think the two drinks didn't collaborate well with each other.
No.
Like one was super sweet, super light, and this one is like very sour and like
punchy in the chest.
Yeah, liquory.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Strong. It's a strong drink.
Yep.
It's like a gin martini.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited about our topic, friend.
I was going to ask if you sent in the video.
I did not send in the video.
But that's cool.
It's like typical me.
Yep, it's cool. So our topic today is called So Pure.
Purity culture. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
The ugly.
The ugly. So the topic came up because I saw a TikTok that was talking about it was of course a male TikTok and a male podcast and they were talking about purity culture and how let me make sure I explain this right. How women who grew up in the church, or not, let me not say grew up in the church, who are very involved in their church, who have this I'm not having sex until marriage. I am I'm abstaining from sex. That's their big thing when it comes to dating. Are not the women that are being wived as much as the women who be getting it popping.
Essentially because they have no personality outside of their purity.
Yes. So it made me question, and I sent it to James because I was like, you know what, this is a big thing, because then I started looking it up. Purity culture was a big thing in the 90s. We're 90s babies. And, of course, before. I don't know what purity culture is like in the 2010s, 2020s, especially with, like, it. Okay, the question was, is there a purity culture? Is there a purity culture? I don't know what it's like in, like, the 2010s and, like, the 2020s. But I do remember what purity culture was like growing up.
Okay.
I can share my experience of it.
Go for it.
Growing up, I grew up I grew up going to church very regularly. I loved going to church. I personally feel like I had a good balance of church and outside of church. Yeah. Part of me just had a little razzle dazzle, like the secular world.
Yeah.
Like, my parents weren't very strict in the sense of like, you, like, everything is involved, like, is revolved around church and going to in the Bible. Yeah. Now, my parents raised me, like, to believe in Christ and have faith and all of that. But I still got to, like, listen to 93.9, 95.5. Like, I still got to, like...
You got to listen to regular music.
Regular music, not just gospel music. Yep. I still got to dance, participate in other activities. But growing up in the church, you do meet those people or your peers whose parents aren't like that. Who, like, have to sneak and listen to radio or like watch magazines. My mom wasn't like, my parents weren't like that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I do remember coming to the age of probably between 12 and 13 of the purity like the sex talk and purity conversation and abstaining from sex and not having sex until marriage and the whole purity rings. I've had friends who had purity parties where they had to sign a contract or a commitment to abstain from sex until they get married.
Oh, wow.
And and I think I signed one.
Oh,
I think it was passed out, and I think, at 12, you're like, of course I'm not gonna, like, what is sex essentially? And growing up, sex is seen as such a bad thing. Like,
depending on where you're.
Depending on where, like, from the church, like, sex is seen, not a bad thing, but it's like, you're not supposed to have sex until you're married.
Yeah.
Period.
The only way to do it is abstinence.
Yeah.
Baby, big words.
Yeah. And then, you grow up.
Things change.
And things change. And you also see the, like, kind of hold and shame sex can create, especially if you do have sex before marriage. Like, you have, like, you kind of feel ashamed, or, you let it dictate you let sex dictate who you are as a person versus it just being, like, a great activity.
An extracurricular.
Like a great thing, but you let it, like, if you don't do it the right way, you judge yourself, and it kind of opens you up to being judged by others, especially, who knew you as a child, who signed a contract, who said they were going to abstain from sex.
Yeah. So,
what is your, with your experience with purity culture?
It wasn't like that.
Before you go, let me say my mom was not a pusher. My parents were not pushers of this is what you need to do. Yeah. My parents were very, let me not say my parents, because me and my dad didn't talk about sex. But my mom was very honest about sex.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't, also went to private schools. It was a thing, but not in the sense that I saw people doing, like, having purity rings or signing purity contracts. It was kind of like sex is bad, don't do it. But also, I went to, like, in middle school, people were getting kicked out of school because they were having sex in the locker room. Like, it was kind of all the same thing. I remember being in middle school, coming back from lunch, and there was, like, a condom out on one of the desks.
In middle school?
In middle school. Like, in our, like, 8th grade class, like, one of the 8th grade classrooms that I was in. And remember, like, the teacher... freaking out. And then putting it into an envelope. Me being the goody two shoes, good girl that I was, still am, having like to carry it to the office in an envelope, but not really knowing like what. I was like, is that a condom? And you don't want to open it because the teacher done sealed it. And you got to take it to the principal's office and
Did
be
she
like,
lick it to seal it?
hello. I think she put tape on it.
Oh, okay.
To be like, hi, found this.
But what is the principal supposed to do?
You know, I don't know. I was hoping they weren't going to like DNA test it. I don't know. We couldn't even like.
Was it you?
Nobody knows because I was in middle school. I think the rumor was like, oh, there was a used condom. People were in there and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
But I'm pretty positive it was just out of the wrapper. Like somebody probably just took it out the wrapper and was like, ooh, a condom.
And like fill it up with water, like
That,
put it over a banana or something like that. Yeah.
But I don't think it was like, nothing crazy. I still went to like, Catholic school, Christian school. Say, yeah. It was just, it's interesting. As far as people not having, maybe we'll show the video if we can send it in or something on a commercial break, because it was just very interesting, the concept. Like I can see why he was like, you see the girls that are getting married first are the girls that are a little more free-spirited, as some would say. And then the girls that have like prized themselves on being the good girl, not having sex or staying home and kind of doing what people would view as correct, are the ones that aren't getting married and having a hard time finding somebody to settle down with. And I don't know if I blame that on purity culture.
I do.
I feel like I blame it more on technology.
Okay. I guess it could be both. I think women part of our generation who really, I don't want to say fed in because that seems very negative, because I think there was a positive for me in purity culture. Yeah. Which is selfish, but there was a positive. But those who like really lived that life in our generation didn't really have social media growing up.
That's
we didn't have social media at 13, 14.
That's not what I meant
by
it. That's why I said technology, because I thought at first I said social media when I was thinking about it, but then I was like, no, that's not true. So to me, purity culture has been around for as long as time can go on. Men controlling women's bodies is still happening today. Yeah. Like we live in the DC area, so it's like prevalent. And so I feel like that aspect of it hasn't really changed, where it's been, if a girl is out here sleeping with a bunch of guys, she's a whore, she's this, she's that. It's been like that since the dawn of time. Yeah. But what has changed is how people interact, and being able to interact and have a personality outside of their sexual relationship. Because now you don't have to really talk to somebody in order to get to know someone. You can talk to them through dating apps. Yeah. You can watch television. Kids aren't going outside as much anymore. You're not doing this whole well-rounded thing that people were brought up on. You watch Bridgerton. Them girls could sew. They could play the piano. They could cook. They knew how to keep their man happy. They knew like all these different random things that you would seem like a well-rounded, entertaining individual to be around. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's got lost through technology, like through television, through social media, if you have it, through music. And now it's shifted to where it's like, well, like we say with guys who, I have to have a personality now for a girl to like me. The money doesn't matter. Yeah. It's the same thing for women. Like, I can't just use necessarily my body. Yeah. I have to have a personality or have something else that I'm, that's interesting about me. Yeah. When the purity thing has been there. It's like been there, hasn't been like.
I think the other part, like especially if you go back to Bridgerton, women are now allowed to have an opinion. Mm-hmm. And I think that has really kind of moved the purity culture. And I feel like as far as living in the DC area, I feel like people are trying to hold on tight. Yeah. To the purity culture thing. And it's like. Here? No, I mean like government is trying to hold on tight to like purity culture.
Like the DC. No shade to the DC area. I was just very confused by the
out here.
Yeah, I was like the South is trying to hold on to the purity culture. That's for damn sure, because now it's illegal to get Plan B in Tennessee. I believe
they're trying to make it illegal to get birth control, like condoms. They're trying to make like condoms illegal.
And Yes.
They're trying to make birth control illegal. And you know what? I was thinking about this morning. Let me tell you why.
Come on, tell me. Go ahead, run it. Is it going to be a conspiracy theory?
No, I mean, I didn't research the facts, but I'm just like saying.
Hit it.
The child birth rate, because we talked about this before, is declining. Mm-hmm. Like, people aren't having kids like they did.
Especially amongst the
millennials and
white families as well.
Especially among the white families. But, like, there's no baby boom of the 60s. Mm-hmm. There's, like, women are having either kids not at all or a little bit later.
Yep.
And then we just went through a pandemic.
Yeah.
And the population is declining. Uh-huh. So I feel like they want to get people to have more kids to
repopulate
the earth. But sorry to say, it ain't gonna be too much repopulation. I mean, okay, this is taking a turn into like other conversations that we'll talk about later. Yeah. I don't really want to talk about
that. But I would just want to say that everybody that was in the comments that passed the vibe check on that no plan B allowed in Tennessee, because it was like, if my cousin wants me to mail them a special package, I'll do it.
It'll be with no return address.
No return address. It'll just pop up at your house.
Listen, you put it in. You let me know. You cash at me $49.99. You got it.
Okay.
And you know what? It's a little cheaper on Amazon.
A little cheaper online. Okay.
Oh, we got the chat room coming.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to. Can we? Is at the top of the chat section? Okay. That ain't no problem.
You got it, Jay? Oh, hey, y'all. We didn't have the chat room up.
We're not ignoring you.
We're not ignoring you. We hear you. We're just finding you. James gonna look us up.
Yeah. Oh, that's not his website.
That's not it. We're so excited. We missed you guys so much last week. Like, to have a chat room and to talk to y'all.
It wasn't anything crazy.
Check out our website, A Sip and a Shot.
Oh,
and you can tell us any type of topics. The chat's been popping?
The chat's okay. Leon said, man, y'all be wanting drinks. Yeah, it's a Monday.
No, he said I be wanting y'all.
Oh, I be wanting y'all's drinks.
Listen, we got something for you.
We get y'all there, okay?
Uh-huh.
And okay, so Jimmy said the girls from church be the biggest hoes. Sorry, ladies. And you know what?
That's why I was very clear not to say church girls, but maybe like the women who are very prevalent in the church right now.
You know, I would say
not the PKs.
It might be a little 50-50. Or no. 35. And then whatever's left is the regular girls. Okay? Because there are some, they have the girls that you when they would talk about doing a church hug, and they wear the little, they want a church hug, or the girls that wear the short skirt and sit at the front of the service, and they had to bring a little napkin thing,
prayer cloth
to cover up your legs so you're not stressing out the pastor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know about that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Jezebels.
Lachey said, "Fun girls get wifed more and divorced more."
Oh.
What a twist. I mean,
why do we think they get divorced more?
I mean, the divorce rates are very high, and if you just statistically say that they're the ones getting married more,
I feel like they get divorced more because they match energy. Now, I know we said matching energy and tit for tat is not what we're trying to do anymore, but I think men are used to like still being able to do them. Mm-hmm. And their sweet little wives at home taking care of the kids, cleaning up, and they just gonna come home after you wash your dick and go to sleep. No. You out, we out. Everybody out.
Everybody.
So, if you don't want me
outside,
then you let's stay home, and then we go out together.
Or because they got married because of the sexual chemistry, and then once that dies off, y'all don't really like each other.
Are men really get married just because of sex? I mean, to me, sex is so prevalent. You can get sex anywhere. I don't think you have to marry somebody to get sex.
Listen, if the hoes get married, what is it?
their personalities and the sex.
I mean, like, yeah, of course, personality and sex, but if sex is the biggest component for a lot of people, which it is, like the sexual aspect, like, oh my gosh, dick too bomb, I can't believe it, I'm blind to anything, girl, I'll fight him over the peen, like, whatever, I just want him to come see me, and he's like, yeah, she doing all right, she making me happy, she don't stress me out, I
and
get
then
a little
you do,
head at the end of the night.
And then what happens when you do everything before you get married? Then do they get bored while they're married?
I don't know. Listen, we don't know.
And that's where, like, purity culture, the good, the bad, the ugly, because on one end, like I think being able to wait a little bit. Hold on, let me get my thoughts together. Go ahead, finish the chat. I'll break.
Don't know where this is going. Okay. As a man having sex as early as possible was the goal, which I feel like is true. And that's the difference between girls and boys.
Which is the craziest thing, because for women, it's having, like, waiting as long as possible to have sex.
Yep. And boys are just like, go out there and get it. And some, which you could imagine, that leaves a little gray area.
A big ass gray area.
Can I be honest though?
Go for it.
That's the whole reason that they teach y'all so much about being pure, because they know men are been taught to.
I was gonna say, do they teach y'all about purity?
I mean, no,
They
not
don't
at
tell
all.
y'all
Not at all.
To save yourself?
Hell no.
No.
They just say don't come home with no babies. That's what they
Because it's like your
say.
masculinity
They ain't
is
say
tied
don't
to
have sex.
your
They said
sex.
don't have
Yeah.
babies.
Your masculinity is like at an early age is tied to how many girls can you get. Like, I slept with this girl, and then that's when the lies start coming out, and you be like, oh, I slept with her, and it's like, nah, bruh, you didn't, and then that becomes a whole thing.
I was never that guy, but
Listen,
I get what you're saying.
I know a few of them.
I never did.
Okay. Kelly said, unfortunately, I think purity and prudence have started going hand in hand. You can be abstinent and still tap into your sensual side, but usually you just see one or the other. That's accurate, Kelly.
And I think that's very accurate. I'm trying, like, not to tell on myself too much in this conversation.
Hold on, she wasn't finished.
Okay.
She said, I had guys interested in wifing me when I was practicing abstinence because I was still a fun, exciting person, just shut down the fun in the bedroom. And that's accurate.
When you say shut the fun down, like, meaning not going into the bedroom.
Or not having sex. The fun part of the bedroom.
The relationship.
I want to know how long that lasted. You know what I mean? Because I got questions. You know, because women are nowadays act like niggas.
Yeah.
And which means that
better niggas. Let me be clear.
Call it what y'all call it. Women nowadays, they honestly, I feel like on both sides, intimacy is lacking heavily. You feel me? So with that being.
Sorry, is intimacy lacking, or is it being confused with just sex? Because intimacy is not.
I don't know. I feel like once sex gone, intimacy is gone. I feel like only time a lot of people try to be intimate is when they're leading up or foreplaying or trying to give into sex. I feel like there are two different things, and they should be exposed as two different things.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's not that. I feel like it's either they give you affection or they don't, and that's kind of like the segue that it kind of falls on who you're dating. You feel me?
I think. As far as that they either give you affection or they don't, I think as a woman who has questioned how much affection to give and when to give it, there's still quite like you want to give affection, you want to show that you're interested physically, but not necessarily interested enough to have sex.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get into that conversation about whether or not you're going to have sex, not because you're trying to trap, but because you don't know yet. Like, sometimes we know when we see you, we're going to have a physical, like,
right.
We're going to have sex.
So what's a way of staying interested in a person mentally without the physical? Like, what's ways of that y'all think y'all can, like, actually keep the relationship spicy without having sex at all? Like, and they know that shit off the table.
And to be clear, there are levels of physical intimacy that does not include sex.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you don't even want to slip and fall into a vagina or onto a penis, I would say, because, you know, some people slip and fall, apparently.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't know how they got there, but they said that's what they said. And I ain't gonna question it.
I don't know how it happened.
And I ain't judging. I think it depends on what you guys having good communication and finding fun stuff to do that you can be intimate or like physically have touch without having sex or things that might lead to it, because the sexual tension be there.
It be there, and part of it is like keeping yourselves out of the house, out of bedrooms, out of cars. Like for a good minute, I will meet you there, and like we could talk outside of the car, but it could be like small things. Like you could show physical intimacy that's not sex by like holding your hand or just kind of standing close while being in public. You know,
I was gonna say,
I can see that.
I was gonna say, you know, like back in the day where you would be like, I'm not wearing leggings over there because I'm going to wear the good tight jeans.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't slide no hands.
And it's not easy to take off.
Not easy to take
off.
Leggings
was easy to
or you like feel everything through leggings.
Yeah.
You be like, I don't need to feel nothing. Just need it to be.
You wear your jeans and a belt, especially when you're young and you leave your parents' house because you don't, you know, parents be knowing.
Yeah.
But, you know, you wear your belt with your tight jeans because, you know, you still want to be a little cute. You want him to see, cute. You want him to see what's going on.
Maybe wear the bra that snap in the front so you don't get caught slipping. And they try to do the little, you making out, they trying to find that bra strap. They trying to find the clasp. And you be like, ha, sucker, it's in the front. Not getting them things today.
They make their way quick to the front, sis.
They try. I mean, hey, but it at least gives you a second of breath. To be like, woo!
I think also, it's not there. It's got to be the front.
Dang, that shit ain't back there.
Yeah.
Now you wear a sports bra. You into some things. You wear your sports bra. I think the other thing is, and I think this is the most important thing, being really clear with yourself.
Yes.
Because have you ever questioned whether or not, like, part of you really wants to go there with that man, and the other part of you is like, I don't need to go there with him, but I really, really want to. And it's a lot of signs pointing to do not do this.
Don't do it.
But you just want to try to see what it's like.
Especially now, okay? Listen, y'all. Things are getting dicey in the Supreme Court. Okay? Now is not the time to be testing the waters off Free Willy. Okay? You better think it through now.
And then it's hard. Okay, here's the other thing. Here's the good, the bad, the ugly part of purity culture. It's hard to tell as a woman speaking to a man who's interested in men, it's hard to tell a man, I do not want to have sex, because then you run the risk of him not wanting to be with you at all.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, when do I tell him I'm not going to have sex? Yeah. Because do I want him to get to know me a little better, to like find out I'm a cool chick, like I'm fun and all of that? Or do you like tell him immediately, I don't know what you think this is going to be, but we not having sex? But then they hit you with the that's all you think I'm interested in? I'm not even like that. Why you trying to play me like that? It's like, feel disrespected. Did I tell you about that time that man said that to me?
But you know what? On that note, we're gonna go to a commercial break.
Oh.
Yep, because we're
rolling in the deep. Wait, did you want to say something?
Yeah, because I'm about to be like, so how does he know when he is or not on the friend zone? Because it's giving heavy friend zone.
We will answer that when we're back.
All right, heavy on that. Cause
we gotta pay some bills.
It's VJ.
It's James.
And this is
A Sip of the Shot.
We'll be right back on the Plugged In Radio Network. Hey y'all, it's VJ.
It's James.
And this is
A Sip and a Shot.
Woo, 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 woo. We're back on Plugged In Radio Network.
For those of you that missed it, our shot today was a Lick My Pussy. So it was coconut rum. We used Malibu, pineapple juice, melon liqueur with a little bit of grenadine. And then
And
our
it was
sip,
really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really, really good.
Delicious. Our sip was Fallen Angel. So it has gin, lime juice, and creme de menthe, the green kind. That's why it's this weird, funky little green. And it was questionable. So
It was not our favorite.
not our
Let's just say
favorite.
that. It was
Definitely
not our
needs a
favorite.
little work. So this was not our recipe. So we
We're
not
not
our
gonna
feelings
take
are not hurt.
We're
by
going to
that.
do a sip and a shot version one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll jazz it up a little bit. But it definitely is a punch in the chest. Make you fall out
Yeah.
the sky.
And if you like sour gin stuff, cocktails, then you'll like it.
And I like sour drinks, and this is it's much
like
too
too
much for
sour.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we went to commercial break, the question from KB was, how do you know if you're in the friend zone if there's no physical aspect really to the relationship? And I think that question is such a this is where purity culture has gone wrong.
Tell us.
Because in order for there to be a relationship outside of just friendship, I feel like you should be able to be like, why does sex have to be the end all be all for you to be in a actual relationship with it now without being friends?
At
if
what
that
age?
makes sense. As an adult.
Okay.
Like if the only thing that is separating you from being in a relationship is
Whether or not we having sex?
yeah, when people out here fucking and sucking anyway, that's the weird part about it, where it's like you could be out here sleeping with whoever, but you don't want to be in a relationship with them, and then all of a sudden, now that you're interested in this person, you have to have sex in order for
Them
like
to
it's
know that
you
you're
like them. Yeah, when it's like that's not the situation anywhere else.
I think that also comes down to communication and what you were saying earlier about people, especially of this generation, not really knowing how to communicate, not knowing what your feelings are, not knowing how to express your feelings or put the correct words to your feelings. Because if you could, then you could say, I really enjoy your company. I really see a future with us. I really like who you are as a person, but I also really don't want to have sex until a certain point. The certain point could be 90 days. It could be a year. It could be until you're married.
It could be a week from
It could
now.
be a week from now.
Who
It could
knows?
be tonight. Like, I just, you just
Right
don't
now,
know.
I just don't know.
But I think people are missing that communication. But it goes back to what we were saying. Like, women have that fear because on one hand you hear, don't have sex until you're married. Abstain from sex. But on the other hand, you hear, if you don't give him some, he's not going to be around.
Yeah, or if you're not doing it right, he's going to find someone else. And
So
that's even if you are
it
married.
takes the pleasure of sex for women away, and it makes sex more like a job. And that's the one thing that I love about this generation and like kind of becoming a woman and being like totally responsible for your pleasure.
Yeah.
And not just being a baby making machine.
Yes.
Or not just being a bed maiden for your man, like just a lady. No, girl, get involved. If you're not gonna go the purity route, which is okay. If you're not gonna go the abstain route, you're in charge of your pleasure.
Yeah, and you don't have to we watched this show called The Midwife.
Yes.
It's a great show. It's on Netflix. It's about the right after World War II, up until I think they did like the 70s of like midwives and pregnancy, and they talk about abortion, they talk about birth control, they talk about the dangers of
it's like the start of birth control.
Yeah, the start
like
of birth control, all of that. But it was just in that show you saw so many women who did not want to have another child, could not fathom taking care of another child, stuck with another child because they didn't have birth control, they didn't know like what birth control was, and their husband just wanted a hunch on them, and so they ended up pregnant. Like sometimes they had like 7 kids. Y'all wonder where these big old families went. Girls is tired. The women's is tired.
And the siblings, like the oldest daughters, I'm not even gonna say oldest sons. I ain't even gonna give y'all that. But the oldest like daughters having to take care of them kids.
Yeah, not having.
They
their
was like,
own
no, we're
life.
having 2.
Yeah,
That's
it. We're done.
We're done after 2.
Cutting it off.
And that's what I'm saying. Like comparing back then to like comparing what's going on now. Like people want the world repopulated, and when there's too many opportunities out here for women.
Yep.
There weren't a lot of opportunities back then for women.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like, where has purity culture really gotten us? Like, if you think about the history of the world,
I appreciate purity culture.
to an extent,
I appreciate it. I think purity culture saved me from a lot of unnecessary headaches in situations.
Yeah, I agree. I'm talking like the controlling when a woman could get birth control.
Okay.
Controlling the abortion side.
So you mean
of
like the
things.
systemic part?
Yeah,
of,
like this is like
okay.
dawn of time, men be like, nah, you can't be out here if you had sex with somebody. It didn't matter if you got raped, if you were assaulted. It didn't matter who it was. As soon as something happens to the girl, or
you automatically have
a red A on you.
Yeah.
Or, you're blamed because you seduced somebody and you're like, I didn't do anything. I'm
10.
just living here.
They're
you
10.
know?
Like you can't seduce anyone.
Like that's not a thing. So that's that's the other side of it where it's like, where has it really gotten us? It's gotten us to this point of like, I guess the 70s where it was the summer of free love and people were just out here getting it in.
It's a sexual awakening.
Yeah, sexual awakening. And it's kind of like, on one hand, purity is like the aspect of saving yourself until you're ready. I won't necessarily say marriage is an amazing thing to teach people and to make sure that people are in the right headspace before they cross that line with someone. But
I don't think it's realistic.
The control that comes with having to stay abstinent or pure, especially for girls, can be a really fucked up situation.
When you say control, you mean like, what do you mean by control?
I feel like historically, it's always landed with the man, whether or not a girl, like a woman, had sex, whether she was ready for it, when she was able to have it. It was like, they would be standing outside their wedding bedroom to see if there was blood on the sheets type of thing. And where it's like, it's a good, like, now I appreciate that people are saying, hey, if you want to do it, cool. If you don't, cool, but make sure you're ready before doing it. Whether you're ready at 19, whether you're ready when you're married.
Whether you're married when you're 31 years old.
Yeah, like as long as you are mentally together and can prepare yourself for everything that comes along with it, rather than it being like, down with the whore.
and only women being whores.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't want to say have an issue with, but I always found interesting is how they teach you with purity culture. They teach you for the first, let's say 22 years of a woman's life, not to have sex. 23. And then you hit that like 24, 25, and it's, when are you going to have a baby?
Yeah.
Especially when you hit like your 30s. Like, when are you going to get in a relationship? When are you going to be married? When are you going to have a kid? And it's like, how do we I remember that transition in our friends having kids and it being okay.
Yeah.
Because it was very quick. It was a quick turnover between like, oh my God, she's pregnant and she's so young, to, when are you having a baby? Yes. And it's like, well, damn, I've been keeping my legs shut for 23 years. You want me to crank them open now? Like,
for that? For that?
For a baby?
A watermelon coming out of
we get to have a little fun with it?
My little change purse? Like, excuse me? There was a question from KB.
Yes. Actually, I do have a question. All right, so actually, it's not even a question. It's more of a statement because it's something my grandmother told me. She said sex was never meant to be pleasurable. It's meant, sex in the Bible.
It's meant to procreate.
Exactly. So you're supposed to hold off, then do it specifically to procreate.
Well, I'm so sorry to your grandmama.
I'm so sorry to her too, because
I mean, it makes sense.
That was her way of trying to tell me to stop being a hoe, and it wasn't. It didn't work, Grandma. I'm sorry. I love you. Rest in peace.
That can be argued though.
But that's the funny thing about it, is that that's what girls are being taught, but guys aren't being taught that, and they're the ones that...
Not all guys. Some guys are.
Okay. Some guys...
That
we don't talk in...
It's the guys that are raised by women, or, what I'm saying, in different things.
We try not to talk in
some of
overarching statements here. So, yeah, I don't think... Like, it's not as prevalent to be taught for, like, a guy to be taught, sex is for this reason. Right. You should wait. Don't go out and sow your wild oats everywhere. Maybe people are saying don't come home with no baby.
Yep, pretty much.
That could lead to another topic for a different day. I was like, we can talk about that another day.
And then it's like when you do have a baby, especially at a young age, it's like met with. Then everybody knows you're having sex. It's one thing for people to think you having sex. But like when you come home with a baby, now they know, and now you young, and like I just remember that fear.
Oh my God.
You know, like, oh my God, if my parents find out that I've had sex.
The first time is I'm definitely gonna be pregnant. It's like that was always the fear. It's like, man, it's gonna be a one-hitter quitter. I'm being pregnant. Even if I use a condom, even if I love birth control, even if I do everything right, that's just the way the Lord gonna smite me down.
And you get punished for having sex.
Yeah.
Instead of sex being this pleasurable thing, which is it might not have been what it was supposed to be in the Bible days, but that's what it's looking like for now.
Hey, in some
Thank
cultures,
you, Jesus, because He made that shit great.
Kama Sutra.
Thank you, God.
Been around for a long time.
Around for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? I think this is the other part that a lot of people get. Sex is supposed to be pleasurable for married couples. And a lot of people ain't getting married. But
They surely ain't. They still getting it in.
yeah.
Getting it in.
Oh man. What would you tell your children?
To wait until they're ready. This guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a wait till you're ready. And making sure they're aware of all the things that come along with it. Not necessarily you can get somebody pregnant. There's diseases out here, all that stuff. But the mental stuff that goes along with it as well. Like
think of what mental shit goes along with sex.
Craving it, right? Like
when you first that physical craving.
Yeah, that physical craving. Woo! Or you run the risk of you sleeping with somebody and they don't want anything after that. It is like,
and knowing the difference between that. Yeah.
And are you going to be okay? Like, if you do this with this person and they decide they never want to talk to you again, they fall off the face of the earth, are you going to start questioning yourself? And I think that's the hardest part is like you start questioning, well, what did I do wrong? Am I not good at it? Am I not good enough as a person? Like there's a lot
Which is why I think purity culture is a positive for young women, for young girls.
And I would say because that could be the negative.
I think it gives you a minute to get to know who you are more. Mm-hmm. Versus like at 14, you don't know who you are. At 15, you don't know who you are.
At 21,
now,
you don't know who you
at
are.
21, you don't know who you are, but you know a little bit more about yourself than you did at 14, 15.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say, and you know, I agree with make sure you're prepared for all of it, as much of it as possible. But if you at 14 or 15 know that you're not going to have to worry about it, like what if, like I think I would share with if I was to ever, like my nieces and nephews, or if I ever have kids, wait until you're out of high school.
Yeah. Because
it gives yourself an opportunity to really get to know yourself and kind of know what you want, what you don't want. You're not moving for someone you like just for that reason. I think that's my only
And I would definitely be open about sex compared to the side of purity culture where it's don't talk about it at all.
Yeah, no.
And because I feel like that leads to more issues than anything because people don't know what something is.
Yeah. I feel like you can't nowadays. You can't not talk about sex nowadays.
I have somebody that never mind. I was like
somebody I know?
No, it's not. It like you know, like outside of our circle, but it was like I don't even want to open up that door of possibility for something to get back somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
No.
I got you.
I got you. But yeah, I think a lot of people do find ways to keep their children. I mean, if they hear about it at school, that's one thing, but it's not going to be coming from them. And I think the worst place for a kid to learn about sex is from other kids. So, you know. But to each their own. I
think that parents should show their children affection and like what affection looks like between two people who love each other, and respect each other, and then they have some type of thing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So you don't kind of fall into a bad situation.
Yeah, which is dicey because some parental situations that's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Ding ding.
But hey,
what you got for us?
That's it. I got nothing else.
I want your opinion on one thing.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna be mad.
Oh, I know what this is gonna be. Go ahead.
Which one?
Go for it.
So when I was looking into purity culture, I saw this video and they were saying purity culture is pedophile culture. Because they were saying that we teach, let me not say we, it's taught to young girls, especially like 4 or 5, whatever, that you need to have stockings and wear dresses and skirts below your knees and to cover up as to not tempt an adult man.
Mm-hmm.
And no adult man should be attracted at all, let alone sexually, to a child. And purity culture takes the responsibility of not being tempted by children away from the men, but it puts it on little girls.
I don't know if I would call it pedophile culture. I would say rape culture in general, because it doesn't stop when you get to a certain age.
Okay.
It's still the same thing. Like, it's still, you shouldn't wear this, or you're like, it still falls on a girl or a woman not to tempt a guy, even if you're saying no, Destiny's Child. It still takes it away. I think pedophile culture, rape culture, it is like it's one umbrella. The assault culture.
It's all one thing, okay.
Rape, pedophile, a bunch of other things.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take away that it's a two-way street type of thing, where it's like, I can't do it to myself, but you're telling me not to do something, like not to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't rape myself.
Okay.
But the onus is on me.
The onus, like, I'm to blame. I'm at fault for being raped.
Yes.
And I'm at fault
and it's the boys will be boys, tempting. Or, oh, he's just being flirtatious. Or he doesn't mean anything by it, when it's like, actually,
she had on short shorts. Her dress was too short. She was showing too much. She didn't have a T-shirt over her bathing suit, because that's a part of purity culture.
I was like, just because somebody's door is unlocked don't mean you need to go in.
Uh-huh.
That's how you get shot. Okay?
Every time.
Okay?
Every time.
That's because something is... You perceive it to be open to you does not mean you need to go in. You always have to ask for consent. You always need to have a good conversation. Make sure you're consenting to what you're consenting to. Some people try to throw something in there, like a random person. I've heard stories about that.
I've heard stories about
terrifying to me.
Oh my God.
So, just...
And you don't ever have to go... PSA, you do not ever have to go along with anything. Even if something starts that you ain't started and you figure out it happened, you can stop it. You don't have to be like, well, I'm here, so I'm going to keep going. You can stop. Because that happened to one of our friends. And
yeah. I was like, there's a lot that can go on, and you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And if somebody's trying to force you to do something you don't like to do, like if somebody's trying to tell you, oh, you should have sex with me, I don't know why you won't, blah, 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 blah. Baby, that ain't the person for you. And we heavy on that energy over here. Find what's right for you and do what you want to do when you want to do it, as long as everybody else agrees. Because that could be taken out of context. I'm not talking to rapey people.
Make sure everything is consensual. Okay, before we go.
No.
I'm just want to say yay Meg and yay Party. And I'm going to leave it at that.
There ain't nothing to yay.
What? You don't like Meg and Party?
You're only yaying because you thought that they weren't together, when in actuality they were together. They just weren't online.
I was
worried.
Now,
I don't know why.
Because, like, I didn't see them. I was like, oh, please let them still be together and like it be positive. But I think it does show different aspects of a relationship. Like, sometimes you're gonna be out and sometimes you need to be home with your man, and it works. And did y'all see him lift her up? That's all that 5'10". That's why I tell y'all, go for the 6 feet and up. That's all I'm saying.
It's not. It don't have to be 6 feet and up. He could be short.
That's all I'm saying. He can't be short.
He could be short. If he weak and he's 6 foot, that ain't gonna get you nowhere, is it? Well, he need to be strong. Okay.
I haven't interacted with anyone under 6 feet and over 6 feet and weak.
Over 6 feet and weak.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he don't have to be. Listen, if you like a short king,
if you like a short king, do your thing.
Okay. Now, if you want him to be able to pick you up,
and you feel the difference,
he need to be stocky. Okay.
Yeah, he need to be able to squat some.
Thick. Well, I want them twig legs. All right. Don't skip leg day, my guy. Get in the gym. Do it all. Full body workout. Okay? Don't skip leg day. Because the legs going to be buckling and she going to be up there shaking and you going to be fearing for your life.
And let me tell you, she will never trust you again in any aspect of y'all's relationship.
Ever
She
again.
just won't trust you. She going to bow out gracefully. Especially if you drop her.
And don't drop her in public.
Ooh. All right, y'all.
On that note,
It's VJ.
it's Jane.
And this is
A Sip
And
and a Shot.
Bye.